Today, we are diving into a 2,400-year-old tool for sharpening your mind. We're talking about a method of questioning so powerful, so revolutionary, that its creator was actually sentenced to death for using it.
I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, right? But what if your questions were so good, so probing, that they started to unravel the very fabric of the society around you?
And that philosopher was, of course, Socrates. The wild thing is, he wasn't feared because he claimed to have all the answers. Nope. In fact, he famously said he knew nothing at all. He was feared simply for his questions.
So here's our game plan. We're going to explore why his questions were seen as so dangerous. We'll break down his famous method, see it in action, trace its incredible journey through history, figure out how to use it well, and then we'll circle back to that final question Socrates himself had to face.
Okay, so let's jump right in with the trial. Why on earth was Socrates seen as this huge enemy of the state? Why was he accused of corrupting the youth and defying the gods?
Well, it all boiled down to his whole approach. See, while everyone else was lecturing, giving answers and acting like they knew everything, Socrates did the exact opposite. He'd just start a conversation, claim he was totally ignorant, and use questions to poke holes in people's logic, revealing all the hidden flaws. He wasn't trying to teach, he was trying to discover.
And this unique way of talking, this question-first approach, was so influential that his students Plato and Xenophon wrote tons about it. And eventually, it would come to be known as the Socratic Method.
Now, this is absolutely key. This isn't about winning a debate. Not at all. It's a team sport. The whole point is to use questions to explore all those assumptions we have that we don't even know are there, clearing things up and getting rid of messy, contradictory logic as you go.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures how Socrates saw himself. He wasn't trying to plant his own ideas in other people's heads. He truly believed the ideas were already in there. His questions were just the tool to help people, well, give birth to their own understanding.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but how does this actually work in practice? Let's look at a classic example from one of Plato's dialogues and see this thing in action.
So, meet Euthydemus. He's a young guy, and he is 100% certain he's got it all figured out. He knows what's right, he knows what's wrong. End of story. Socrates, naturally, decides to gently test that confidence.
Socrates starts off easy. He asks Euthydemus to just sort a few actions. Lying, deceit, theft. Yeah, Euthydemus slaps those right in the unjust column. No hesitation. Seems simple enough, right? A very black and white view of the world.
And then Socrates drops the first little curveball, a question that immediately puts a crack in that certainty. All of a sudden, context matters. An action that seemed totally unjust a second ago now seems, well, maybe it's just, depending on who you're doing it to.
So Euthydemus has to adjust. He comes up with a new rule. The action's morality depends on whether you do it to friends or enemies. Okay, that feels a bit more solid, but you know Socrates isn't done yet.
And there it is. The question that just shatters the new rule. Here you have a commander lying to his own side, his friends, but for a good reason, to help them. So is that unjust? The simple categories are just completely falling apart. So what's the end result? It's not some tidy definition of justice. The result is that Euthydemus is just crushed. But this is the whole point. He hasn't been given an answer, but he has been freed from the illusion of knowing. He's now aware of how complex the world is, and he's finally ready to think more deeply. That, right there, is the Socratic outcome.
And this powerful technique for dismantling false confidence, it wasn't just left behind in ancient Athens. It has turned out to be incredibly versatile, popping up across centuries and in all kinds of different fields.
I mean, just look at this incredible journey. During the Renaissance, it was used to train doctors, forcing them to defend their diagnoses. After the Reformation, it was adapted to explore deep questions of faith. By the 19th century, it became the bedrock of American law schools, and it's still used today by the Supreme Court to test the limits of new laws with tough what-if scenarios.
So clearly, it's a powerful tool, but, and this is a big but, its success really depends on the person using it. It is not just about firing off difficult questions to make someone look bad.
To do this well, you have to be modest. You have to be genuinely curious. You can't be a bully, and you can't just be showing off how smart you are. The real goal is to affirm the other person, to explore the ideas together, not to win. You've got to create a space where it's safe for someone to be wrong.
And here's the great irony, right?
Socrates himself might have been seen as falling short of this ideal by his critics. Historians think he was pretty critical of Athenian democracy, and his public questioning of its core beliefs wasn't seen as a helpful chat. It was seen as a direct attack on the state itself.
Which brings us full circle, right back to his trial, his death sentence, and the final moments that would seal his legacy as a true martyr for free thought.
Even on his deathbed, about to drink poison hemlock, artists always show him as totally calm, totally serene. He wasn't defeated. He was still that curious explorer, now facing the ultimate unanswered question: what is death? And he was ready to investigate.
You see, Socrates' real legacy isn't a list of answers. It's a method. It's a commitment to asking questions. It's the simple but totally radical idea that real wisdom starts when you admit you don't know. And that's why this matters so much today. It's an invitation for us to challenge our own deepest beliefs, to have the courage to ask, wait, is this really true? In this process, it's not about tearing things down. It's about building a more honest, a more solid understanding of the world and of ourselves. So the only question left is, what unexamined belief will you question first?